This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 238, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to Boom Boom Cannon. Yes, he is back and conversations are back because that's what Rock and Roll English is all about, isn't it? Conversations between real friends. I actually think friendship is a huge part of Rock and Roll English. This wasn't my intention at the beginning, but this seems to have happened, and it's obviously a wonderful thing, and even better is that it exists in the Rock and Roll English family as well, which will be opening soon. So yes, I speak to Boom Boom Cannon about sharing toothbrushes, holding other people's babies, declining invitations to parties, and lots more. But before we start, just a quick thing. Make sure you join my email list, okay? So to do that, just go to rockandrollenglish.com and click the big button there, because from today, I am going to start sending you a PDF podcast summary with all of the vocab and maybe some other bits. And also today I am going to send you an advanced English grammar test, okay? Rock and roll grammar, just because I've got an idea and I want to see how good you are with advanced English grammar. Remember, not English grammar, advanced English grammar. So anyway, here is the conversation. I will talk to you again at the end, obviously, where we talk about the vocabulary. I forgot to highlight some again during the episode, so make sure you tune in to that. So enjoy the conversation and happy listening. Boom Boom Cannon, how are you today?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic, Boom Boom. Always fantastic. We haven't actually spoken since England lost that final. This is the first podcast we've recorded since then. But we also did just have like a 1 hour kind of analysis of that, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So we haven't spoken apart from the hour and a half, actually, that we just spent mostly talking about the final. So,
yeah, well, it wasn't worth recording. The conversation was too sad. Okay, and that's also why we didn't record after the final. So moving on to today's show. It's been a long time, Boom Boom, but how do we usually start the show?
With a review, as I recall.
Oh, yeah. Do you think we have a review today?
Yeah, surely.
Yeah, you're very confident there and correct. So this is from Terzio, and this is a 5-star iTunes review, and I think she also put it on Facebook. And it says, I have been listening to your podcast for a few months, and I tell you it's totally addictive. Thank you, Martin, first of all, for your hard work, dedication, and enthusiasm for teaching English through your podcasts. Your teaching is very professional, and I love your unique approach to making English truly effective and exceedingly entertaining at the same time. Being a non-native English teacher myself, I have searched for, checked and tried a lot of sources for my personal language development and also to collect ideas for teaching, and none of them come anywhere near R&R English. You provide authentic, everyday English and fun, and with intros and recaps, you highlight the specific vocab and language to focus and learn in context. Your conversations and stories are not stilted or feigned. Some lovely vocabulary there, but natural, hilariously funny, lifelike, and sometimes even heartwarming and instructive. So Martin, your podcasts are unique not only because of the language learning process that guides us listeners, but through your personality, sense of humour, and of course thanks to your amazing friends, Prince Charming Boom Boom Cannon. What do you think of that, Boom Boom?
Prince Charming. Wow.
That's a pretty good one, isn't it?
Is that a nickname we can stick with?
That's not sticking. That is absolutely not sticking. But the list goes on. Hard rock and roller Hellraiser, lunchtime regular Corporal Coma with all-time irregular pronunciation, radiant clarification Charlie, lively substitute Sabrina, and last but not least, my all-time favourite freelance human being, Dan the Man. Thank you all. So thank you very much for that, Terzio. Unbelievable review. You didn't get the all-time favourite Boom Boom, but you did get Prince Charming, so not bad, hey?
Just happy to get a mention, really.
I mean, a pretty good mention as well.
Prince Charming, yeah.
yeah, you can't grumble at that, can you? So when
Not
I say
at
you
all.
can't grumble, you can't complain about that. So on to today's show, Boom Boom. So I thought long and hard about what we could talk about, and I've had a few situations recently, and I don't know why, but thought about you in these situations. Okay, and the idea is saying no. Okay, because I know you, like me, have a lot of difficulty saying this very simple word. Okay, so I thought we could talk about this and then look at some situations and see maybe what we could say in those situations. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I've done my 5 minutes research, and it mentions how this word is only 2 letters, but just feels so awkward for some of us. Okay, apparently some psychologist called Dr. Vanessa, I'm not going to try and pronounce her surname, said many people agree to things, even things they would prefer not to do, simply to avoid the considerable discomfort of saying no. Do you agree with that, Boom Boom?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
That's your whole life, isn't it, Boom Boom?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty much everything I do is because I've just not had the courage to say no to it.
I am absolutely the same. It also says it's also possible that you say yes because you deeply want to help. And I immediately thought, that's definitely not true. I don't want to help anyone. I just feel so uncomfortable saying no. So,
I mean, really, this explains why I'm even sort of here doing this podcast with you, is because you asked me, and I just didn't really know how to say no, and here I am.
Well, most people would be, I suppose, offended by that, but I love the honesty, Boom Boom, and I'm also glad that you're suffering and you are here with me. But something. So it says that we can be, basically, to avoid this, is to be assertive. So to kind of be strong. Okay. Now, this is something I struggle with a lot. What about you, Boom Boom?
Yeah, being assertive. I think, it's a fine line between assertive and rude, isn't it? So
I don't like going near that line, Boom Boom. I like to stay a long distance from that line.
Exactly. So if there's any danger that I'm going to come across as rude, then generally I avoid being assertive, unless maybe I've had a couple of beers. That helps.
Oh, and then you'll start punching people. You've got no problems, Boom Boom.
Then I really assert myself.
Yeah, I'll remember not to ask you if you want to do a podcast after you've had a few beers, because I could end up with another broken nose.
That wasn't me. I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, lots of people have broken my nose, but Boom Boom was not one of them. Boom Boom was giving me a shoulder to cry on, I think. But yeah, so I mean, I've got an example of this actually. So before, obviously, I got married last year, the caterers, the people that were providing the food, invited us to a kind of tasting session of the menu. And the sort of tradition here in Sicily is that they only let you taste the fish part of the menu, right? And we had quite a few people come in that didn't want to eat fish. So I very kindly asked him in a WhatsApp message, I said, is it possible to try the meat stuff as well? Because we've got a lot of people that don't eat fish and will be eating meat. And he simply responded, no. So, I mean, have you ever responded like that, Boom Boom?
I don't think I could. It's simply with a one-word no.
Exactly, just a straight off no, of just like, not even to come up with an excuse or anything like that. Just quite simply no. But that is being assertive. I actually once bought a book about how to be assertive, right? Because I always assess my strengths and weaknesses, Boom Boom.
Good.
And yeah, and I thought being assertive is definitely a weakness. So I bought a book, and I think I got to about page 3, and then even just reading it, I was feeling uncomfortable. So since then, I've literally done nothing with it.
Yeah, hard to like when you're in that situation with a question put to you that you want to say no to, like bringing the book out to
just wait a second.
Yeah, just need to check chapter 12.
Yeah, just hold on for 1 second. I'll just refer to my book. Just carry it around with me all the time, like my Bible of how to be assertive. Okay, so now I've got a few sort of scenarios, some of which have happened to me recently, and we can look at maybe things of like how to get out of them, so how to avoid doing them. The first and the most common one, I suppose, is an invitation, maybe a party invitation. And one of the excuses it said that you can come up with is, let me check my calendar and get back to you. What do you think about that one, Boom Boom?
I think that's just a no, isn't it? If someone kind of responds in that way, I would just take that as a no anyway. So it's maybe quite a good way of kind of like staging the no, like in two phases.
Preparing someone for a no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to check my calendar. They think, oh, this is going to be a no, and then, oh yeah, I've checked it, and now it's confirmed that it's a no. I'm not coming.
I mean, my sort of analysis of this, I mean, and this was on a website. This was actually on a Learning English website of like, this is what you should say when you want to say no. And this is just what made me think of people just write so much bollocks, because that's such a weak excuse. I mean, first of all, how long does it take to check the calendar? If I send you a message, like, check the calendar in the meantime, and then you reply, first of all. And second, you're just delaying it, aren't you? You're just making it even more awkward for when you finally do say no.
Yeah. It's just say no if you're saying to check in the calendar. I've got a friend actually who sometimes asks me if we're doing things here where he'll lead with like, are you free on the, whatever it is, before saying what it is that he's actually going to suggest. And I like the guy, like we're friends. So sometimes I do want to do the things, but I kind of want to know what it is before I tell you I'm free, so that I can then use maybe the fact I've got something else
definitely
as an excuse.
Yeah.
So that's a clever way of actually trying to get someone to do something before,
I like
removing those excuses.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, very good, because you're setting them up there. But another one here is another excuse is, oh, that sounds lovely, but I won't be able to make it. Have a great time. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's nicer than just saying no.
Yeah, it's certainly nicer than the guy that just sent that message no. But I'm not comfortable. I feel if I say no to someone, I have to make up a valid excuse. I can't just say, that's great, but I can't come. I always feel the need to say, like, I can't come because it's like my brother's wedding or something like that. But I mean, my brother must have got married a few times now for the things I've said no to. But I always have to make a reason. What about you? Yeah,
definitely. I was thinking about this recently with like when there was the potential to do some socialising, and really I just thought, you know what, I'd just rather stay in tonight. But you can't say I'm just staying in.
Yeah,
that's sort of just not acceptable, is it?
No, you just look like such a dickhead. If someone says, do you want to come out for a beer, and you say, you know what, I just want to sit at home and read a book, like, you just think, what a dickhead. Yeah. I remember one of our friends was very much like that when we were sort of 18. And I
know who you mean.
Yeah, and the amount of times let's say I wasn't particularly nice to him with the things I said when he told me he wanted to stay in and read a book. But I mean, my attitude has changed a bit now. Now I would respect that. But yeah, you can't though. You can't. But
what do you think is acceptable in that situation? Like, is not really in the mood? Is that acceptable?
You still look like a dickhead if you say I'm not really in the mood to talk to you. It's a tough one. You just need your brother to get married or something, which helps.
Yeah.
And the last one, which again, this was on a website, so like teaching people to use this, and I'm worried people actually do. So, like I said, you've been invited to a party, and it says just to respond, sorry, can I take a rain check? So to take a rain check means like basically to say no. So basically, that's just saying, sorry, can I just not? Like no reason, just sorry, can I just not speak to you?
Yeah, rain check sort of implies that you might want to do it again in the future, but without providing the reason why you don't want to do it then and then, like then and there, it's you're really just saying no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, it's a tough one. But so another one here is when someone asks you, like, do you like my... I'm not going to do the classic of when a woman says, does my bum look big in this? Because I don't think anyone's ever actually said that to me. But if someone says to you, like, do you like my jacket? Do you like my jeans? What can you do there? If you want to say no, how can you do it?
I mean, I think you would say to me no if you didn't like what I was wearing. I can imagine that quite clearly.
Well, this is actually...
But then, we're close, so you can say that.
That was exactly my point. Exactly my point. You have to be close to someone to say no in that moment, because otherwise you have to say yes. Because obviously, if you're making negative comments about someone's appearance, which actually happened to me, I went to a few weddings recently. Obviously, I had my suit that I got married in last year, and I wanted to reuse that, but hadn't really considered the point that obviously in that time, well, now I have a child, and we've been maybe not eating as well, been doing less exercise, and I didn't realise that I've got a bit of a pot belly, which is a nice term, just a little bit of a stomach, nothing crazy. But so when I was at this wedding, I would say 5 people who I'm not close with at all said to me, "Oh, you've got a bit of a stomach there, haven't you?" And
wow,
I couldn't believe it. I wanted to say, look at the state of you. You're actually 5 times bigger than me. Look at the state of you. You're an embarrassment. Outrageous.
But you didn't go for that option.
No, of course. I've got a bit in my head. I did, but really, I just sort of went, yeah, I have got a bit of a belly, haven't I? And my shirt is kind of the buttons are kind of stretching a bit, which last year this was my nice sort of skin tight shirt, which I thought looked really cool, and now I didn't realise I have got a bit of a stomach, and it doesn't look so cool now. But yeah, the thought of saying to someone that you're not that close with, oof, you're a bit fat, you look a bit shit.
No way. There's no way I'm doing that. Positive feedback only.
Exactly. If you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But so this is the thing that actually made me think of you. Actually, I don't know why. An incident that happened to me quite recently of someone that, again, I'm not particularly close to. It was a kind of gathering, so a small kind of party, and this person turned up, and his baby was there. It was similar age to mine. And immediately said to me, do you want to hold him? What can you do, Boom Boom?
You have to say yes, don't you? You have to, not only yes, but, I'd love to.
That's exactly what I said. I certainly didn't say, you know what, can I just take a rain check?
That sounds lovely, but on this occasion, no.
I wanted to say, look, I've got a baby I hold quite a lot at the moment, and I know babies can be sick on you and stuff. I really do not want to hold your baby, but yeah, of course I was yeah, definitely, can't wait, because I think in his mind he was thinking when I see Martin, he's going to be I can't wait to hold this baby, when in reality it was the complete opposite. But yeah, I was thinking maybe saying babies don't like me, which generally is true. Not sure how much my baby likes me either. But again,
you now don't have the excuse of you can't trust me. I don't really know how to hold a baby, because you've got the experience now. So I've at least still got that. I can say, I don't know, it's a bit risky.
Yeah. But again, the thought, going back to the other one of people saying you've got a bit of a belly, the thought of just saying to someone you don't really know, do you want to hold my baby? There's nothing they can do. They have to say yes, don't they? They can't say, not really. I'm not really bothered about you or your child. You have to say yes.
I'll just look from here.
It looks great. Yeah. You look like you're doing a great job, so I wouldn't want to ruin that. But the next one's, I think, quite interesting. Now, I think this would be no in most situations. Let's say someone asks to use your toothbrush, okay? I think, you're always going to say no, because if you're in that situation, that person's in your house, you must be quite close. But what about if it's your other half? So your other half is a not so formal way, let's say, of referring to your boyfriend or girlfriend. So Mrs. Boom Boom says to you, Boom Boom, can I use your toothbrush? Because I think that's the only person where it can be kind of acceptable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What's the context? I mean, why is she not using her own toothbrush?
Okay,
she just being weird, or she's lost hers, or I'm trying to think. Like if hers is there, then I would definitely suggest she continue to use it.
She just thinks she's got like this really strange sex fetish kind of thing, and thinks it's great. No, you're traveling, and she's lost hers, like in the bags, the packing process. There's only one toothbrush. What are you going to say? I
think like there'd be a moment of kind of hesitation, which she would read and interpret, and then respond with something like, come on, we
just use your finger. Your finger's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. She would probably mention that, we obviously, hygienically, let's say, you know what I'm saying. We kiss and stuff,
We exchange body fluids.
I was going to use that phrase, and then I thought, don't use that phrase, but you've used it for me. And then I would just probably give in because, I'm weak, and to be fair, she's correct. We do. So I'd say yes, and then maybe then buy a new toothbrush. So.
Literally on your phone on Amazon, immediately order a new toothbrush while she's brushing her teeth. Next day delivery. Thank you very much.
Just fancied a new one, actually. It's a coincidence.
You keep using my old one, and I just really wanted to.
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure we've probably done that accidentally anyway. So no, I'd say go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. That thing actually happened to me again quite recently. I was in the bathroom with Mrs. R&R during the moment when I was brushing my teeth, which normally, you do that alone. I can't remember why. And she just said to me, why are you using my toothbrush? But the problem was because they're very similar colours, and as you know, I'm colourblind and kind of can't really distinguish between them. So now we've then had to buy new ones because, I didn't realise I'd probably been doing that for months. But yeah, good job I'm not with you, Boom Boom, because you would have just told me to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, we did live together. I'm wondering if we ever accidentally did that.
If I remember, you had quite a posh electric toothbrush anyway.
That sounds about right.
Well, so I had one of those like ones you get for like 50p. So I think it was quite clear there of like, you had like the posh expensive one, and I had like, I think like, the real working class one, class hero toothbrush.
Working class toothbrush. Yeah, I had that sort of pretentious electric toothbrush.
Yeah, exactly. That sums you up, Boom Boom. Whilst I'm a working class hero, I suppose.
Just using the finger.
Exactly. At times I've actually done that in the past as well, and
it has an effect. Yeah,
Does it though? Does it? I mean, I don't really think there's any difference between just basically putting toothpaste in your mouth and just sort of just washing your mouth. I don't really know what the finger's doing. I think you're not really getting in and getting that dirt out, are you?
I think it works breath-wise.
Yeah. Well, again, though, that's just toothpaste in the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think rubbing your finger on your tooth is doing anything for your breath or anything like that. But yeah, who knew you could talk about toothbrushes for like at least 5 minutes? But so to finish it, I suppose, to say goodbye, this works quite well actually. When you say goodbye to someone, I mean, I suppose it's not saying no, because they don't say, do you want to hug me or do you want to kiss me? But if someone's like, quite sweaty and you have to say goodbye with a kiss or a hug, what can you do there, Boom Boom? Can you say, can I take a rain check? You're a bit sweaty. You're a bit wet. What would you do?
I don't think you can't take a rain check on a hug. That just that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think you have to do it.
Yeah, maybe try and go for just the wave first and see if that works. But once they start moving towards you, and you know they're like leaning in for it, as we say, then there's nothing you can do, is there, except go for it. And then immediately when you get out of their line of sight, then try to wipe the sweat off your face. That's the only thing you can do, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think as we've definitely discussed on here before, the ways of saying hello and goodbye to people are a minefield.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of ways, sort of sweat and that kind of thing's the least of my concern. It's more just, going for the wrong one at the wrong moment. If we're both going for the same form of hello or goodbye, then I'll take some sweat. Just so you get it right, I suppose.
Exactly. And not go for like
concern.
You've gone for 2 kisses and they've gone for 1. Yeah, I'd rather be covered in someone's piss and sweat, I think, than have that embarrassment.
Have you had the like someone going for a handshake when you sort of recently come out of the toilet? You've washed your hands, sure, of course, but they are still wet, and you need to you can't not go for the handshake. But do you then explain why your hands are a bit wet and that it's not piss?
Again, it's highlighting that though, isn't it? Which is a problem, because maybe they weren't thinking about that, and now they're thinking maybe that is piss. I've actually as well, another problem I've got is I do have quite gammy hands. So a lovely word there, gammy, just kind of like wet a lot. So yeah, when we get to the goodbye, I do spend a couple of like seconds before like rubbing my hand on my jeans to try and make sure
it's good technique.
It's dry. Lots of people are probably looking at me thinking, what is he doing? Why is he touching like near his private parts so much? But it's just, so if I ever do meet anyone, any of the listeners, it's just I want to have a dry hand to avoid this embarrassment. Okay.
Good word, gammy.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I've heard gammy. And it does normally tend to be hands, doesn't it? You don't really have gammy, maybe feet actually.
Less so. So definitely hands is the main one. It's I always talk about this, how some words, they're called collocations, obviously. It's like the word, I've mentioned this before, girth. If you talk about girth, even the name, basically you're talking about how thick someone's penis is. Like you can't hear the word girth without associating it with a penis, can you?
We certainly can't. I can't speak for everyone, but no.
I honestly can't actually put it in another sentence. Put it in another sentence for me. Boom, boom.
His that chap there. He had a girthy waist. It's definitely something I've never said.
Exactly. That's what I mean. As I always say, Boom, it's real English here. Like, you would never say someone's got a girthy waist.
I think I maybe would use girth or girthy to describe something else, but only if I actually sort of wanted you, for instance, to laugh because I made you think of a penis.
Exactly. That's the point I was making. It makes you think of a penis. So on the idea of penises, I think it's a good time to say goodbye. So thank you very much for your time, as always, Boom. I hope we've helped people to say no, and I'll speak to you soon.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Boom Boom and me speaking about saying no. Okay, now let's look at some of this vocabulary we had. We actually had some R&R vocab in the review from Tertio that said the stories on the podcast are not stilted or feigned. So these are 2 synonyms actually, which mean kind of like insincere, I suppose. Fake, maybe. Then in the review, she referred to Boom Boom as Prince Charming. And I said to Boom Boom, you can't grumble at that, can you? A lovely term to say you can't complain about that. A term I forgot to highlight was when I said I thought long and hard about what to talk about. Now this is obviously very simple, but a lovely term to use. You think long and hard, never hard and long. Oh no, Just like you wouldn't say chips and fish. You say fish and chips, and you say, I thought long and hard. We then spoke about being assertive to say no. So when you are assertive, you show you are confident and strong, and you are not frightened or scared to say what you believe. So if you want to say no, say no. Not so easy though, is it? Boom Boom also then said something else I forgot to mention. If there's any danger that I'm going to come across as rude. So this term come across in this context basically means seem. So if there's any danger I'm going to seem rude, to come across as rude. We also then had the term take a rain check, to decline an invitation. But as Boom Boom said, it does leave the impression that maybe later you will say yes. So do you want to go out tonight? Can I take a rain check? And maybe let's do it next week. But in my opinion, it is a stupid thing to say. I also said that I have a pot belly, a lovely little term to say a bit of a stomach. Disproportionate as well to the rest of your body, because obviously I'm quite thin, skinny, and then there's just this little stomach, this little belly. So we call this a pot belly. We also had the term your other half, when your other half uses your toothbrush. A very informal but funny way to talk about your wife, girlfriend, husband, or whoever. Then when I mentioned how Boom Boom had an electronic toothbrush, he said, did I? That sounds about right. Again, simple to understand, but a lovely term. Yeah, that sounds about right. Boom Boom then described his toothbrush as pretentious. So when you are pretentious, it's when you want to seem more intelligent, more important than you are, let's say. So he was using this electronic toothbrush just to seem really cool. Whilst, as I said, I was using a working class toothbrush. We had the term lean in for a kiss. I think this is quite obvious as well. When you lean in for a kiss, it's when you move in. We also had the word gammy, okay, when I said I have gammy hands. So usually this word actually means when something of your body doesn't work well, like a gammy arm, something like with your arm isn't working right. It's very informal, not a particularly nice thing to say, but with hands, it is quite funny. And we especially use it when your hands are a bit wet, when they sweat unnecessarily. You have gammy hands. There's something wrong with your hands. But as I said, if I ever shake your hands, I will dry my hand. Now remember, all of this is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com, episode 238. And remember to join the email list for news about the R&R English family, and also a summary of today's podcast and an advanced English grammar test. Thank you all for listening. I will see you soon. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.